Hey YouTube, the John Vanderveer here. I'm doing a response to a video by another YouTube user who's commenting on lobbying money and how lobbying money essentially runs the government. This is of particular interest to me because I am a double major in college. I'm a junior in college and I'm double majoring in political science and economics. So this is right up my alley. First of all, I'd like to, ag- um, agree that this does exist and lend my support for doing such a video. People need to be aware of it. This fact that there are corporations with shoot ton of money, and they just buy everything out. They'll buy out um, regulators. They'll buy out hell. They'll buy out governors of states. Rick Perry is a perfect example. And but I wanna raise a more I guess you could call it a political science philosophy question, a theory of politics question. And this question is, why is that bad? First, like I said, first we need to acknowledge that it's true, and it is true. But I would like to ask, why is that bad? Being a political science student as well as an economist, I'm not your traditional political science student, and I don't have the traditional outlook on politics. Because instead of viewing politics on the grounds of fairness, which don't get me started about fairness, people don't know what they're talking about once you get them started about fairness. Instead of looking at fairness, I look at efficient allocation of political power because the efficient allocation perspective comes from economics, right? So if you look at this from an efficient allocation of political power, you'd see that a lot of people back in the day thought that America would end up a pluralistic society. In other words, they knew these interests would accrue, these lobbyists and what have you, factions, as the Federalist paper said. But they didn't realize it would become hyper pluralist, and I don't know why they didn't realize that. In fact, I think some of them did realize it would become hyper pluralist. How could it not? Not all lobbyists are created equal. Some have more power than others. I'm pretty sure that some of the founding fathers would have been aware of this phenomenon because it's so common sense to me. And so the question is, why is it bad? If you realize that a business is a much more dynamic structure than the government, and a business is a much more efficient structure than the government, if you allow this business to allocate its resources to its own interest, assuming that it's not the only business and you have some competition amongst businesses, and certain forms of business become the elite businesses, maybe they're insurance companies and banks and this type of thing, why is that bad? Yes, they pollute the media. But first of all, if you're dumb enough to listen to what they're saying, whose problem is that? That's my first point. Second of all, they're polluting the media is not something that we can't take care of. We can create online media and whatnot. The media is a business as well, so it's just interacting organically. And an organic reaction by us, the underground, would be something like the internet. So I don't see why any of this is bad if you're dumb enough to watch the mainstream media and believe all the blatant, obvious garbage they're telling you, where oftentimes their own story will contradict itself. If you're going to believe that, whose problem is that? So that's my point number one. Point number two is, if the garbage they're trying to get you to believe lends support to themselves, and that entity, which is themselves, is an economically efficient business, and not necessarily an immoral business outside of the fact that they just want money, why is that wrong? That's what businesses are made to do. Now, I will submit the fact that on a personal level as a human, a life lived in pursuit of money is easily turned into an immoral thing. And I will agree with you, or I'm not even sure if you would make the statement, but I will posit the statement that a business entity is essentially a superhuman structure, a superorganismal structure. It's essentially a bunch of people working together for a common cause. And so if I were to do anything, I would have some business reform. But would my business reform be lobby reform? No. How stupid is that? That is getting rid of the fever when you have the flu. Okay? If you want to reform something, don't reform lobby rules, how much money you can give, and all this kind of crap. No, reform the nature of a business. Mandate that all businesses are not for profit. Then what's a business going to do? If a business is designed to pursue profit and it's mandated that it's not for profit, then it will essentially become one of two things. It will either seek to maximize consumer benefit, seek to minimize employee benefit, or possibly a third thing, if it's a not-for-profit with a strong activist board of directors or CEO or what have you, it may seek to promote certain values instead of certain business items or goods or services. It may seek to promote cultural values. And that's not bad when a business seeks to promote cultural values. You know why? Because the truth wins. Why does the truth win? Because the truth is the most efficient thing to do. Being the most efficient thing to do, it will, in the long run, I'm not saying in the short run or immediately, but in the long run, the truth will promote a business model that outpaces the other ones, because the other ones are held back by untrue information. And anyone who's read Friedrich Hayek, Louis von Mises, really any of the Austrian school at all, realizes, and this is an economic school by the way, realizes that when a business gets bad information signals, it causes them to become an inefficient business. So my ultimate point talking about this, because I think it's a very interesting thing, but I think a lot of people react wrongly. A lot of people react by wanting to limit lobbyism. I say cut loose lobbyism. Let them lobby all they want. Because if the business itself is good, the lobby will be an outgrowth of that business, and the lobby's effect on the government will be an outgrowth of that business. You need to make sure the business itself is good. Don't reform the lobby. Don't reform the government or any of this. Because do you know what? The government is the corporations. I hate to break it to you. The U.S. Congress doesn't run the world. Lehman Brothers runs the world. Where's the money? Okay? And those of you who are well informed know this. The financial system, Ben Bernanke is bought and sold, dude. He was put there by bankers. Okay? He's from Wall Street. And watch him. He often acts to their own interest. All this quantitative easing, what do you think he's doing that for? Additionally, he is a Keynesian nuthead. But if he was brought up with a different, ideology, he would still be serving those that put him where he is. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And scratching each other's, and here's the problem, scratching each other's back is not a problem. That's a good thing if you're scratching each other's back in a constructive way. The problem is that these people are all going after money in these superorganismal structures called corporations, especially so. So what we need is some corporation reform and some business reform in the United States. And like I said, I don't think that it should be mandated nonprofit, because that's actually just killing business and you're making it hard for a business structure to survive. You should make it not for profit. And what's the difference there? Well, y'all can go research the difference between a nonprofit and a not-for-profit. But essentially, a not-for-profit is allowed to carry profit. It's just not allowed to have that as its primary intent of business. It can be made to benefit consumers, benefit employees, or benefit certain maybe research or certain values, certain moralities, even certain religions. You can have a religious not-for-profit. And I'm all for that. Let's have all kinds of religious not-for-profits. But then don't go trying to manipulate the information systems by saying we have to have, one of each religion. No. Let it be open and free information. Don't regulate this internet. You want to regulate this internet? It's going to come back and bite you in the butt. If you regulate this internet and you cause misinformation signals to be given, oh, you're only allowed to post videos like this or videos like this. No, you need open information, because the truth wins out every time. Don't say, oh, if you're going to have a Muslim not-for-profit, you also need a Christian and you also need an atheist. First of all, these people who claim that atheism is a religion piss me off. It's not. It's a lack of a religion. Any good atheist would know that. So then why are you trying to pursue legal rights as a religion? You're the lack of a religion. Anyway, that's a completely different rant. My point is, you need open and free information, and you need to reform businesses to align themselves with the morals of the people, because businesses are essentially a collection of people with a common interest, a business interest. And the United States gives these businesses legal precedent as individuals. They're called legal entities. They're treated oftentimes as if they're live people with bankruptcy law and all this kind of stuff. Why not give them the moral law that regular people have? We can't steal. We're not allowed to steal. We're not allowed to cheat on our tax return. Why are businesses? So that's my point. Allow the lobbyists to do their thing, baby. They are promoting their own business. They're an outgrowth of their business. And to limit that would be to limit information signals going to the Congress. You don't want that. You don't want to limit on information signals. You want to reform the business itself. Cure the flu, not the fever. All right, YouTube. Love you. Take care. Bye.